Hey, everyone. Hey. It is your girl, Precious Williams. Right now, I am getting myself together because in about an hour and a half to 2 hours, I will be the keynote speaker for an event happening in Newark, New Jersey. It's called the Do Good holiday business event, and it's here in Newark, New Jersey. For those of you who don't know, I graduated from Rutgers Law School 18 years ago in Newark, New Jersey. And I kind of wanted to share some things with you all. So we're going to call this Can We Talk Speaker Tales. Now, when I'm at certain events, yes, there are makeup artists that are provided, but I got to tell y'all something. As a speaker, do you know what unwinds me? I love putting on eye makeup. So right now it looks a little crazy. Y'all know how we do. And so for me as a speaker, I absolutely love eye makeup. The shinier, the better, especially if it's an evening event. And so I go through many iterations of what I like, right? So I can start off one way. And as a speaker, like, you need to have some things that calm you down, right? And so eye makeup calms me down as I'm doing it. And I don't have the best lighting so y'all can see what this is actually looking like. But I usually have multiple outfits. My stylist taught me this, like, to always have multiple outfits. You could, it could be just one speaking engagement, but have multiple outfits. And the day of, you want to go in, check things out, and see if, which outfit fits the most. So when we rebranded to the Perfect Pitch Group, we stopped, being so much about the hot pink and everything. And I wanted a color that really set me off. And that felt like red, right? Felt like red. I want to be like, do not pass go. Don't. The right one is right here, right? And so as, it was loving doing my thing. Something about red really stood out to me. Like, do not pass go. She's her. And when I wear red, I feel so powerful. Now, y'all, I know it might look a little crazy because you don't see the right lighting on this. But what I'm doing, I'm actually using Patrick Starr's One Size Wicked, right? And the name of the event is Do Good, right? So I'm thinking of Wicked for Good. I love purples, greens, and blues. So for me at night, what are those colors how do I want them set up? So I like the way this palette is set up. And this is from the first Wicked, right? Not the Wicked that just came out. So what I like to do is, what am I feeling like? So I have red outfits in there, different types of red outfits. Sometimes, you got to hit them with the cover girl. And my queen, Aluria, she always keeps me laced because she knows all the, right products and stuff like that. But sometimes, you want to zhuzh it up a bit, right? So I'll start off with something in my mind, or I'll just let things hit me, right? And so I made a mistake. I had this light blue, but we're gonna work it. We're gonna work it, and we're gonna get it right. Do y'all hear me? We're gonna get it right. But I like combining multi-colors together. So I usually start off matte, and then I start, figuring out how do I want things to look, right? And so I'll sit and think about it. But when I first started, putting on makeup, this is even when I was at the Bowery Mission Women's Center, when I was preparing to leave, I wanted to look like a professional. So eye makeup was really important to me, even though all I had was neutrals back then. And every day I wanted to have a look, and I would change my nail colors every day because I was at the point of, getting a job, having a job, and things like that. And so my eye makeup would reflect where I was in this journey. And for me, it was important that I could show versatility. So eye makeup to me is one of those things that just calms me as a speaker, right? Even if another makeup artist is doing it, I tell them, like, listen, I know that there's so many people that will tell you that what you need to do is make them look more corporate. What you need to do is make them, palatable in that sense. But that wasn't me. I was like, I'm not going for the corporate look. I'm going for precious. I like to be bold. And so I'm not trying to come in the corporate way. I'm coming in representing my brand. And if my brand is bold and brash and all these sort of things, then that's what I'm going to focus on, right? And so for me, what made it even better, okay, I'm with it. They can't see it there. It's looking a little weird, but I see you. So what was happening is, I was getting certain palettes, like this is years later, and I just played with makeup. I played with different eyeshadow palettes, and I played with, who do I want to be today? Do I want to come across as, slightly dangerous, professional, but dangerous? Do I want to come across as, like, if I had different hair hats, do I want to be blonde ambition? Do I want to be red danger? Do I want to be blue smoke or purple haze? Am I going for a superhero yet professional grade? And over time, it became such a joy for me. It became such a joy to watch my eyes transform, because that's who I was going in that day. I was still precious, but I loved the idea of eye makeup. And so I remember I was at an event, and one of the queens from Verizon, one of the top queens from Verizon, she was looking at my eye makeup and she said, "Who did that?" I said, "I did." And she said, "Really?" I said, "Yeah, I love eye makeup." And mind you, this is a company. This is a real company. And she loved my eye makeup. And so every time she saw me, she would just be like, okay, what was the inspiration? And like at nighttime, it's always important for me to, if I want to set it off, I want to set it off. I am not looking for perfection. I'm looking for to be in the best version of Precious. So how I said this year, I am very much on audacity. And when you have audacity, everything's not going to be perfect. Everything is not going to be all of this. And yet I embrace it. So as a speaker tale, moving into this year and watching things unfold and watching certain things come up, it was clear as day that God has been waking me up, because I was getting over a cold. And so I was, resting, and he was like, "I need you on your plot twist." He said, there are some people that truly love you as the killer pitch master or the rainmaking speaker, but there are other people who need to experience you a totally different way, right? And in that different way, what does that look like? So what if I didn't speak on pitching? What if I didn't speak on sales? What if I didn't speak on business, like those sort of things? What if I spoke on, really being human in a chaotic world right now, right? There's so many people who are struggling with this, with, their identity, and who do they have to be, and how do they show up in the world, and is it time for them to do something new? Is it time for them to open up a can of whoop butt on some people and let them know who you thought I was is not who I am, right? So me being, being 327 pounds, and just last week I got weighed and I'm 209 pounds, right? And I know it's a shock to people, because even the doctor was like, "You look like you're under 200 pounds. You look like it." And it's a shout out to my auntie who says, listen, she's saying clavicle and I look real thin, but auntie, I'm 209 pounds. And here's the thing, y'all, when I was 327 pounds, It might have been a lot for people to take me in, right? At Curvy Girls Lingerie. But someone had to go out there and show what a full-figure diva and a plus-size fashionista look like, right? Somebody had to go out there and say, I'm not going to let the limitations of what everybody else is saying about me stop me from launching this company, stop me from pitching, stop me from doing this thing. Oh, no, I'm about to go ham and cheese on them. You know what I mean? So whether I stepped into the tank on Shark Tank, whether I did all of that, the most important thing I had to remember about myself is that I'm worth it. When you launched Curvy Girls, Perfect Pitches by Precious, and Perfect Pitch Group, there was different audiences that I was targeting. And the more that I've been in business since 2010, and things have changed and things have grown, and things like that. Again, y'all, the lighting isn't great, so you're probably looking like, what the hell are you doing? Just know, trust the process. Think about this. Who I was 15 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago has changed, right? You know, I am not the same queen who walked out of the Bowery Mission, but I'm also not the same person from 2 years ago. I have grown. And I've loved myself through this process, you know, and I know I'm calling it speaker tales, but also, do you know what a joy it is to talk to your parents? And here we are just chopping it up about ridiculousness. We're not going back in the past and arguing about things anymore. I'm not saying that's for everybody, but for me in this moment at 46, getting ready to turn 47, there are certain things I just cannot allow in my spirit anymore. And one of them is I'm not going to walk in angry with them for the rest of my life. Now, it took years to forgive. It took psych wards. It took a whole lot of things that most people couldn't even imagine. And yet, your girl did it. Your girl, and if we ever slide back into old, habits and things like that, let's go right back. It's kind of like weight loss. It's kind of like when you're becoming the best version of yourself. There are people who are going to understand, and there's some people who are never going to understand. There are some people who still look at me as I was years ago and think that I haven't grown. There are some people that we've had to say goodbye to each other because it was the best thing, not because we were angry, but because we don't serve the purpose in each other's lives that we once did. And then that opened the door for new opportunities. It opened the door to being in different rooms. It opened the door to recognizing. Do you know how many times I self-sabotaged as a speaker? I can't tell you how many years I self-sabotaged. I can't tell you how many years I allowed so many things to happen because I didn't think I deserved it, right? My point in getting all of this to you in speaker tales is, can we have a real conversation? Because I may be smaller in terms of weight, but I still got my weight up in terms of business. So there are certain things that I do now that I didn't do back then. There are certain things that I love to do now, like I don't self-sabotage. I'm not trying to sit around here and go back and forth about things that have been asked and answered and dealt with. There are certain things that, listen, we just understand that there are certain things I'm not willing to keep rehashing, not because they weren't bad things, but also because I'm not who I used to be. And that is God's grace and mercy. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart to the depths of my soul. I'm never going to have that Coke bottle shape, right? These stretch marks, these tiger stripes, I done earned them. These slight laugh lines and stuff, baby, I earned it. I earned it. And it feels good. When the driver was bringing me over to New Jersey yesterday, he and I had the most beautiful conversation about growth. And it was snowing, and I'm looking out and I'm thinking about my grandparents, and I'm thinking about planes, trains, and automobiles. And I'm looking over so many beautiful things. I'm looking at snow-capped trees and stuff like that, things I never would have appreciated. And it reminded me of when I was first an attorney, you get the car service at night and you can see the skyline, and you don't know how beautiful something is until you have a different perspective. And so having a different perspective now is just beautiful. Do you hear what I'm saying, y'all? And so with this different perspective, with this different with different growth and different things happening, you start to see that I had to get older. I had to understand that certain things had to happen the way they did. The reason why I failed at things is because it wasn't the right time. However, it is the right time now. And thank God I lived long enough to see that, right? And so in Speaker Tales, as a speaker, there are things that are going to happen that's going to take your whole breath away. And you're going to think you're bad, it's over. And I'm going to tell you like this, that closed door, there's an open door behind you. And sometimes we're looking so much at that closed door, we can't see that God has opened up another door. And he wants you to walk all the way through it. He wants you to go ham and cheese, peanut butter. Y'all know what I forgot to do? Wait, did I put this on? Y'all, let me... I knew that was something. I forgot to put my Lord Mercy at. Y'all, you know how we gonna do. Let's get it popping. I was thinking of myself, and y'all gonna see the finished product, I promise. So I didn't put all of that on, but y'all know, let's get it. So anyway, things can be out of order, right? And you can still wind up on top. You think there's only one way to make it in business. You may think tech and AI are the only ways. You may forget there are other ways that people have gotten deals. You may forget that there are people who know you and will say your name loudly and proudly. Your name ain't never appeared. You ain't never applied. You ain't never done some things. So I'm saying all of this to say to y'all, it ain't over. Sometimes it takes backfield in motion and then coming back with a vengeance. And so I've been thinking about that movie Die Hard with a Vengeance. Sometimes you come back with such a vengeance. Sometimes you come back so. Who is it? It's housekeeping? Queen, can you give me 5 minutes? Yeah, can you give me 5 minutes? Thanks, Queen. Anyway, y'all. So what am I saying? So it's time to reconnect. It's time to love on some people. It's time to just reach out just cause. Queen Akila, first of all, my sister on her, Lakeisha Coffee. She has a new business, Midwest Playhouse. I love her. This is my birth sister, y'all. I want to give a shout out to Deborah Mortimer, who's on here, trademark attorney. Holla at your girl, trademarkyouressence.com. And then let's get into Akila Tompkins Robinson. Queen, I'm talking to you, but you've been talking to me, right? So I've been using your, girl, I'm not looking at it right now, but it's that content thing I got on TidyCal. I got on SendFox, because y'all know she had Black Friday deals and stuff like that, where there were these different tech things that you could get and start to utilize them and get good at it. Anyway, my point in bringing Akila up is I told her I was gonna get on some things, and I told her I would start on that last week, and I did, right? So Queen, TidyCal is popping. It's definitely popping. People are on the calendar, SendFox, I'm working with it, Queen. But that content calendar, I just started putting things in there, and and I'm excited to see where things are. And so Akila and I go back. We spoke at Podcasters Rock about 2 or 3 years ago in Virginia under Sonia Keeve. So my point is, I'm a forward-facing person, y'all. I want y'all to see my face. Because I'm going to tell you, for a lot of years, people said I was too ugly and all this kind of stuff. But I want y'all to know, I don't live in that space anymore, right? I don't live there. And so it's important, y'all. Y'all see, we love Danessa Myrick. Yeah, y'all saw me. This is like last year, the year before. I love this palette. I know it maybe look a little crazy. Y'all can see your girl going ham and cheese on it. So today I've used Danessa Myrick's this eyeshadow palette that was from like last year. I think it was for Pride Month. But I just loved it because I just love all the colors. You see Wicked, Patrick Starr, and then Cara Beauty. I actually got this at the New York Celebrates Women conference, and one of the vendors was selling this. So it has a lot of blushes and stuff in it. Y'all know, listen, I wore NARS on the face. You know what I'm saying? Don't play with it. And so my point in saying all of this to y'all is as a speaker and with Speaker Tales, sometimes you just gotta pop out on them and do things a little bit different. So Akila, she and I met, and I paid for her time. I paid for her time. Didn't I, Akila? I wasn't playing. And she was walking me through some things, and some things that would definitely be helpful. So she's definitely top notch technology, all that kind of stuff. She popping in these streets. So anyway, my point is sometimes we're looking too much at closed doors and the doors that didn't open, and people hate it on you. You hate it on yourself. You feel bad. Things didn't work out. Your business completed. Ain't nobody calling you to speak. Ain't nobody doing all of that. Now you feeling like you ain't nobody. You're talking to somebody who was the mayor of the psych wards. Can y'all imagine me holding court in the psych wards with the men and the women? Yes, I did. So there are things I look back on, like even in a psych ward, I was holding court, right? Anyway, so sometimes you got to get down with the people, get down with them, and you will find out that there's some things you've been missing. Everybody wants to look like they popping everything. You luxurious and lavish on everything that you do, when it might just be, if you took all of that away, who would you be? Who would you be? If I told you I don't own any Balenciaga, I don't own anything from Fendi, would that stop how y'all feel about me? If I told you that regardless to what anybody says about me, labels didn't make me and they're not going to break me. If I told you I love to dress well, but I also was a bigger girl, so it wasn't like everything was in my size. So if I say to y'all, Speaker Tales, I like to come in. If I'm going to speak, let me cook. Let me come through. Let me get a feel for time and space. Let me get a feel for things. So at the end of the day, y'all, I'm saying all this to say, you're worth it. Maybe your time has come. Maybe you've been hanging with lames. Maybe you out here playing yourself shady. Maybe you think that everybody else is doing so much better. Maybe you think all those sort of things because we all think that. And maybe you be surprised that people are admiring you. Maybe you be surprised that people think you're the bomb.com. Maybe you be surprised that people admire you, not because of what you wear, but because you're that bad at what you do. And you make things look hella easy. Do you hear what I'm saying? So anyway, I know I didn't talk y'all ears off. I have three red outfits in there. I have a green outfit in there. So I got to figure this out. But at the end of the day, y'all, come get this work. And my word for this year has been audacity. And God gave me my word for next year, and it's elevate, right? Whether contracts were signed or not, whether some clients come back or not, I've been just grateful for everything. So I say to all of you, you all are so worth it. You know what I mean? Y'all can see your girl got some head, y'all. So I'm going to get that together. But the most important thing I want y'all to know about me is that through it all, what did it take to get her? Through it all. See, I see the eye makeup is looking better. Right? Right? So I'm going to go up in here. You know what? Maybe I'll do this. Maybe y'all help me decide. Hold on, y'all. So I have this outfit. Now, you know that's a crimson. It's real cute. Y'all know I have this red dress. That's cute. And then I have this like suit. And then I was thinking about, I don't know, y'all. I might want to act up tonight. Hold on. Just give me a second, y'all. Don't hate on the sister. I'm thinking about, what y'all think about this? What y'all think about this? I might do this. It's a halter. It's green and it's gold. I might want to flex. Hold on, y'all. I'm trying to do this. So anyway, this is Speaker Tales. And my point is y'all saw me doing the makeup. I know it looked kind of crazy, but trust the process. And I have to say that to myself. Sometimes I get online, I'm like, oh, I'm doing nothing with my life. And then you be like, hold up. Who was I 20 years ago? Who was I 10 years ago or 5 years ago? It's funny. I thought I was that girl at 327, now at 206, at 209. I'm like Bonnie Ray, give him something to talk about. And just so y'all know, I'm speaking at the Do Good holiday event. Corey and Nikisha Wilson, this is their annual event. This is their second time having it. I was there last year and then the keynote this year. So I'm going to put the final touches on things. I have a new banner. And I'm going to talk about something that I think is so near and dear to my heart that needs to be talked about in this day and age. And so thank you all so very much for showing me love and letting me talk. And then just explaining why you'll see people switch up, because sometimes what you had been doing is not working for you. Look, Akila said sweater dress. It do be queen. But sometimes you want to know, like, so it's a holiday event. So do I want to dress holiday, or do I want to wear something that I could wear to any nice event? So that's the debate. And also I'm the speaker. So what I could do, queen, is I could wear something to speak in and then have that change clothes and eat afterwards. Okay. So anyway, y'all, these are considerations as speakers. What did I love doing? Eye makeup. I love it. It calms me. Right? My makeup will never look as good as a professional makeup. Eloria Michelle come through. But eye makeup, y'all. Y'all saw me do this in real time. And it's even more sparkly than y'all can see, right? So anyway, y'all, it's your girl, Precious Williams, proud founder and CEO of the Perfect Pitch Group. Please pray for us tonight. There'll be a lot of small businesses that are going to need love, support, sales, and everything. So we're not out here trying to pitch our hearts out, get people to, like, that's not what this is. This is about connection, doing good for the community. And so I'm so thankful to the Wilsons, to Jimmy Newsom, to Andrew Frazier, to all attendees tonight. Y'all, this is what we do. Small businesses need each other. Let's go get this work. Love you all. Take care. And if you all watch this later in replay, let me know. Was I looking cute? I know I had this little bodysuit on, but listen, I can't have myself just be hanging out there like that. Anyway, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.